Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to this case study for the Become Club Mindfulness and Meditation Program. If you're new here, my name is Amber. I'm a meditation teacher, and Become Club is my 7-week program, which helps people learn how to manage their stress and anxiety with mindfulness and meditation so that they can feel at peace and learn how to be fully present in their lives. Today, I have a really special treat for you. I got the chance to talk to Hannah Grace, who is one of our Become Club members, about her mental health journey and how Become Club has helped her to feel more capable in the face of tricky emotional moments, how she's transitioning from a life packed with doing and busyness and moving more into a state of being, how she's detaching her self worth from her productivity, and so much more. So please do say hello in a comment down below. Let me know where you're watching from, and let's get into my conversation with Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. I am very excited to hear all you have to say about your experience in Become Club. Would you mind first introducing yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Hannah. I do a lot of things, but I am an artist. I am also right now working as a marketing assistant in social media. I also do YouTube, although I'm taking a bit of a break right now. So I do a lot of things, but yeah, I'm just me.
You're creative, I think.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I'd love to start with a little bit of like context and background on you so people can get to know you a little bit better. Before you joined Become Club, tell me what has your mental health journey been like? Just like what some like events or moments or like realizations that sort of led you to decide to join Become Club and start diving deeper into your meditation practice?
Yeah, I don't know how much we've spoken about this, but I have a pretty extensive like mental health background. So when I was really young, I think 16, I had my first like psychotic break, and I've had two since. And I haven't had one since 2020. But throughout the process, especially since my last one, I've been really trying to kind of just hone in my mindfulness practices, hone in my wellness practices and really get to know myself in a different way. And I think before, like a lot of the things that I was doing to myself was not the greatest, potentially like harmful behaviors and stuff. And so since my last episode, I had been transitioning to just doing more practices that were good for me and beneficial and taking more of that self-care. And so since 2020, I'd started sort of a mindful practice where I would just be, doing like a guided meditation I started every day. And before I started Become Club, I was doing that pretty much like 5 to 10 minutes every day. And I really saw a lot of like growth in myself and a lot of just understanding and awareness of myself that I hadn't had before, and started to really like become comfortable with just being myself in my own body. And yeah, so joining Become Club for me was something that I wanted to do because I wanted to kind of deepen that practice and get to, just get to know myself in a deeper way and get to be comfortable with my just being really. Because I think that even something I had learned in my previous practice was that sometimes like, emotions were really hard to sit with, and sometimes even just like I get intrusive thoughts sometimes, and those can be really hard to sit with. So I wanted to just get more comfortable with my practice and kind of deepen it. And yeah. Yeah, did that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So You touched on your existing meditation practice, 5 to 10 minutes a day.
Hmm.
What did that look like? Like, was it as part of your morning routine?
Hmm.
And I'm, it's awesome that, like, because this is something that I want people to know is like, just start with 5 minutes. Like, it doesn't have
Hmm.
to be anything fancy, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. Like, just even a few breaths can really start
Hmm.
you down this path. Um, can you talk a little bit about like your what that looked like when you first started practicing, and then what made Become Club different than what you were doing before?
Yeah, for sure. When I first started practicing, I really wanted to um, do it in a way that was the most kind of accessible to myself. So just like the lowest barrier, like, and which is why I started with 5 minutes. And when I first started, oh my God, I think like my thoughts were just like ping pong. So
Yeah.
I used to think of it like that. It's just like a ping pong ball going like across my brain. Because I think I also felt like a lot of like guilt about having so many thoughts and like really identifying with them and seeing them as part of my identity. And yeah, so I wanted to just develop more awareness. And so yeah, I just started with 5 minutes and I started with I think it was like on the Headspace app where I started, but now I use Insight Timer. And yeah, and yeah, in the beginning it was like it was very much just like trying to sit still for 5 minutes and just be aware, But yeah, since doing Become Club, I feel like and I think I was like on the trajectory for this for a while, but I think mindfulness now is just something that's part of like my whole day and not necessarily just like 5 minutes of my day. So like I will like if I'm at the grocery store and something there's like a long line and I'm frustrated, like I will take a couple of deep breaths like in the store and I will kind of just notice my thoughts instead of really identifying them and thinking that they're wrong or that, that they indicate something about me, Um
Yeah.
yeah, I think I've just been able to really um yeah, just take mindfulness into yeah, my whole day and my whole beings where so it's not like it's just like an isolated thing where I wake up now, I meditate, I get it over with and it's done and I check it off my list, It's something that has become a part of my whole life and um yeah, I don't know. It's really profound because I feel so different now in the sense that I feel so much more capable in that I know that wherever I go, if I'm alone, if I'm with someone, I always have my breath as an anchor and I think that's really powerful because it's a tool and I was teaching this to someone the other day because they were like what do I do when I get anxious or like I get big emotions and I just feel so overwhelmed and I'm like just like anchor your breath and it's I've seen it work for like I used to work in social work and I've seen it work for clients and stuff too where it just totally um takes for me it took me from being feeling like I was incapable and that I couldn't handle things to being actually okay in my body and being like, okay, I might not have the answers right now. I might not know the solution. I don't have to know the solution, but I will be okay. Yeah, so really profound actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to dig in to that phrase and that specific word you said about being capable.
Mm.
What does that, why do you use that word? What does that mean to you?
Oh God. Well, I think because of my mental health condition, for a long time I felt really incapable, and felt like I couldn't do anything independently, because I didn't think I had the abilities. I thought, like even communicating was difficult for me. I had a really hard time like expressing what was going on in my experience, and sometimes like if I would be out in the world and I'd be faced with a challenge. I didn't know how I was going to handle it and felt really kind of insecure in that. And um yeah, so I think now I feel like more like I might not know what it is that I need to do in those situations, but I know that I will be okay and I can handle it.
Mm.
And that, yeah, just using my breath as an anchor to get through some of those difficult moments. Like I feel like, okay, like that, those big emotions, they're not the end all be all. It doesn't end with those emotions and they're passing through and I can get through it, you know? So I think just like having the understanding that even if and when the scary things or uncomfortable things happen, um, I can pause and really just sorry, that I have the ability to do those things, you know?
Yeah. I think what stands out to me is like the situations themselves may not change
Hmm.
because life is hard. That's just something that we all learn and we all know. And there is no state where you're not going to ever run into difficult situations.
Absolutely.
They're always going to be there. And so,
Yeah.
what our work together to do is to like increase our capacity to
Hmm.
meet those situations in a way that is mindful, in a way that takes really good care of ourselves.
Hmm.
Um, I love that. So tell me, once you decided to join, was there anything specific you wanted to learn or experience in the program? Like, did you have any specific hopes or intentions going in?
Yeah, I think I just really wanted to deepen my practice and I wanted to come out of it just having more awareness of myself and feeling more connected to myself, which
Mhm.
I feel definitely happened throughout the process. And I learned a lot about myself and also my practice. um but yeah, you mostly just wanting to take it to the next level because I think before I was feeling that the practice that I did have was a bit I was like a bit too comfortable with it. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't like I often would put a meditation on right as I woke up. And so maybe I was sometimes very sleepy. And yeah, I just wanted something that made me feel more aware and connected to myself and also my body because I think for a long time I thought meditation and mindfulness was all about like being aware of your thoughts and stuff and really didn't have that like brain body connection, which I think, yeah, that it makes such a difference to be feeling and experiencing what is going on in your body during those moments as well, you know? So,
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to ask you a follow-up question is like, what does it mean to be more connected to yourself? But you
mm,
answered it is like
mm,
to get out of your head and into your body, not
hmm
necessarily out of your head because we're still aware of our thoughts.
hmm
But yeah, the body, so often we neglect. Um, Anything else you want to add about like the connection to self? And maybe other questions will kind of touch on this too, but like what did it feel like to be like disconnected to yourself and what does it
hmm
feel like to be a little bit more connected now?
Yeah, I think for me it comes into like, and this has been a big thing for me in the past year or so, is having that self-trust. And kind of like I mentioned earlier, like with going through the condition I have, um, I lost a lot of self-trust because in those moments, my illness is a thought illness, so sometimes I couldn't trust my thoughts. And so relearning how to just be an observer of my thoughts and to trust that, okay, maybe sometimes like my thoughts can be buck wild, and that's okay. But knowing that like I don't have to identify with those and trusting that I can get through those difficult moments and that I can be comfortable in myself and not feel like, you know, um, that separation, I guess, within myself, if that makes sense. Um, Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me
I'll
about the
agree with that.
separation.
Yeah, I think wow. I think yeah, just for a long time, um, with that self-trust piece, it's like um because I didn't know um, you know, like because I couldn't trust my thoughts, there was that disconnection, right? So um but slowly over time, like that's changed and I've been working on that. But I think um yeah, I think it's that connection between like feeling my emotions and having that like there's this thing I do now and it's like it's kind of like I got it from the course and it came from that exercise where it's like you're babying yourself and I really
Mhm.
resonated with that piece. But I kind of and I do that now pretty often, but I also like think of it as like coaching myself through things. So if I'm faced with like a challenge or something, I talk to myself as if I was my own coach, So like,
Mhm.
okay, you can do this, you can get through this, or like, and just like having the perspective and conversation with myself in a much more supportive and compassionate manner rather than like listening to that super critical voice that is always, judging or like being harsh or critiquing. Um,
Mm.
yeah, just kind of, and that voice is like still there, but it's not as prominent anymore. And even when it is there, I kind of like laugh at it and I'll be like, okay, but you're just hush, you know?
Yeah, your relationship with that voice changed,
Hmm.
it sounds
Hmm.
like. Like
Yeah, for
before,
sure.
it was very much like, why are you here? Why are you saying these things? Like pretty
Hmm.
combative.
Yes, for
Um,
sure.
and also maybe like attachment to what the voice is saying. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is like hurting my feelings so much. And
Hmm.
now maybe like the voice is still there. I think we all have that voice.
Hmm.
It's like brutal to us, and we would never say these things out loud or to a friend,
No,
but we
never.
say them to ourselves.
Hmm.
And the I'm so excited to hear that you've like changed your relationship with it and you're like, okay, you again, haha. Like you can
Yeah,
have like
yeah.
a lightness about it. There's a sense of humor, and it's like,
Hmm.
yes, there you are again, doing the saying the things that you say to me, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna like let you take over. And we have this compassion, like, oh, like you're saying such mean things or whatever it is, right? And it's like,
Hmm.
but actually, I'm safe here. I
Hmm.
like care for myself, and like changing that is so hard. So I am so like kudos to you for like doing the work to like make that change. That is so cool.
I will say it's been a long time coming, and it's,
Yeah.
I think, something that, I've been with, the whole shift into mindfulness and the practice and stuff. It's been a long time coming, and I will say for a while, like, I almost didn't want to let it go because it felt like something about it was like keeping me structured or like in line or
Mm-hmm.
balanced. Do you know what I mean? And but yeah, so I've really just kind of tried to embrace like the more compassionate lens and um it yeah it's a lot more supportive and I feel like it's also increased my capacity because instead of, when I goof something up, instead of coming down super hard on myself, I'm like, okay, we made a mistake. It's okay. You can learn from it. And it's a hard thing to make a mistake, but it's okay. You're human. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I think there's something so important there that you just said. So, for example, our inner critic, this voice may, like, we're all going to make mistakes. Of course, that will
Hmm.
happen.
Hmm.
And the inner voice is going to say, like, something mean about it is like, why? And it, like, maybe it says something about your worth or like, something harsh. Um, and we can choose to be subsumed by that. And I think, like, okay, what's interesting to me, what you just said, is that we hold on to that voice because part of us feels like it's there to protect us. Like,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
because maybe if the voice wasn't there, I would make more mistakes. Or, like, for me, this voice is like, you need to be more productive. You're not
Mm.
allowed to rest. You need to, like, do more and more and more. And the part of me is like, oh, yeah, if the voice wasn't there, I would just lay on the couch all day long. And, like, the truth is that, of course not. Right. Like,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
what I found actually in my life is like, actually, the voice is a hindrance to me because I am trying to get my work done. I'm trying to, like, do good work in the world. And this voice is actually holding me back because if
Hmm.
I didn't have this, like, harsh critic, I could blossom, like, way more.
Hmm.
And it's just like, um, if we imagine like a child, right? Like, with someone like constantly telling them that they're making mistakes, that they're not doing well, of course they're not going to thrive, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But there's this part of us that's like, oh, the voice, it's like helping, it's keeping me on task. It's like,
Right, yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that speaks to your experience.
Oh no, totally. Yeah. Deal with the same thing in productivity. Like it's one of the ways it comes out where I'm like, if I'm not doing all the things that my brain thinks I need to be doing, then it feels like something is like physically wrong. And I almost feel it in my body where I feel like more
Mm,
anxious and I feel like guilty. But yeah, trying to let that go and realize that that voice, it has its place, but it's not always serving us, right? So
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so once you were in the program, tell me, what was your experience like? How did that go for you?
Okay, well, I loved it. I got so many like good techniques and tools from the program. And Also you have such like a calm demeanor and through the course, like I found it very comforting. Just, your voice was very soothing and I liked the pace that it went at. But I actually, in the beginning, I had like a good start, but the more I continued throughout it, I actually faced like a lot of resistance, like in myself, which I was not anticipating because I really like I love meditation. I will shout from the rooftops how much I love meditation and how much it's helped me. So I was really excited, but I felt like throughout the process, like my brain was looking at it as something I had to like check off my list and like just to get done. And so I was like going into it, I felt a lot of resistance and it took me a little bit longer to finish the whole thing than I think the initial like 7 weeks it's supposed to take because yeah, like I think it was because after showing up for a few weeks, like I knew that taking that time to slow down, to get quiet, to be present, to be in my body, I sometimes didn't know what I would come up in those moments, right? So I think my body was really resistant and like, okay, like it's not just like, turning on a course and, watching a program. This is like if you're really showing up for it, you are committing to it with your full body and mind. And
Mm,
that kind sometimes like opens up the floodgates, And I think sometimes like when people think of meditation, they think it's supposed to be like, oh, it's like your quiet time, and which it is and it can be. But I think for me, it has always been something really profound because I always try to show up and just meet myself exactly where I'm at. And so sometimes like it'd be like a simple exercise and I just like the tears would be streaming down my face because it would just hit me and wherever I was that day. And yeah, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I think when we first met, I was going through the MSBR program, and I didn't even actually finish it, because I found like it was like a very theoretical, and I wasn't able to connect kind of in the same way where I was with Become Club. I think I was able, like, it just felt like, sitting down with a good friend and just being walked through these practices. And yeah, I think I through it, yeah, just really was like taking it as something that is nurturing, and something that yeah, I really loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for touching on the experience of resistance
Mhm.
because I definitely don't want anyone to come into the program thinking like I'm going to play these videos and it's going to be euphoric the entire
Right.
time, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is hard work. Like
Mhm.
being with ourselves in the fullness of how we are can be
Mhm.
really hard work. There can be moments of euphoria and people who meditate, a lot of us will describe like we've touched those moments of like pure joy, and that's
Mhm.
maybe partly what keeps us coming back. But we have to know at the same time that like there is there are difficult moments. And how did you meet those when they came up? How did you work with them?
I think that's where like the self-compassion piece came in,
Yeah.
because like as I was going through the course, I was going through a lot of changes in my personal life as well. So I, like, around the same time I started the course, I had just started following a keto way of eating, and have really seen some like really profound changes through that. And I also had started exercising. And so I was like doing all these things to increase my well-being, and to kind of and making all these big changes. And I think when I was sitting down to come to the course, it was like it just like all like lit up at once. So yeah, I think practicing self-compassion and just knowing like, okay, it's not just something I have to get done, and I can have a little bit of flexibility with like, if like maybe right now in this moment it feels like too much, but maybe if I give myself an hour to just be and not be in doing mode, um, maybe I can give myself like a grace period and then see if I can come back to it. Or and then maybe, like, and just kind of like doing that like in a sort of like a cycle, like, um yeah, just checking in with myself and saying, okay, do I feel like I can do it now? And also kind of comes back to that coaching thing, or like that, um communication with yourself thing, where it's like, okay, maybe right now it's too hard. I'll give myself an hour and I'll see if I can come back to it. And if I can't do it in an hour, maybe I'll go for a walk and see if I can come back to it. And if I can't do it then maybe
Yes.
I'll try tomorrow, and just like it's like that practice of returning to your breath, but it was like returning to the practice, Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay, I want to write down what you said. Um, first, uh, hold on. I don't want to lose these two thoughts. Okay, so the first thing you said that I think is so great is at the same time as being in the program, you also made sure you were eating well in a way that
Hmm.
supports you and you were moving your body.
Hmm.
And you didn't mention this, but hopefully you were also getting a lot of sleep.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely.
because the thing that we're doing here with meditation is like we're changing our brains, like we're
Hmm.
literally changing the synapses in our brain, and that takes
Hmm.
a lot of energy. And
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
I always love it when people are like, I'm doing this and I'm doing all
Hmm.
of these other things to like wrap around my practice, and like
Hmm.
that is going to give you so much like a greater chance of success. um, and then the second thing I heard you talk about was that you were flexible with
Hmm.
yourself. Um, I think that's another great piece of advice for people who actually want to make this practice a part of their life for the long term. Because
Hmm.
if you're rigid and you're like, it has to look like this, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. every day, meditate for 30 minutes between 6:30 and 7 and like do my cold shower. Like it's not gonna last because
No,
we're
yeah.
we're just not like that. Life isn't like that.
Hmm.
Um, maybe some people are like that, but I think for the majority of people, like it's very helpful. And this is something that I've definitely tried to build into the program is like, if you can't do this, maybe you can eat your lunch mindfully, and it's like
Hmm.
you're going to eat lunch anyway. Maybe you could just like approach it in a different way. Or maybe you could do a walking meditation today. And like,
Hmm.
what I really want is for people to at any given moment have a little something that they can draw in,
Hmm.
um, so that it's adaptable and it's like can
Hmm.
fit into your actual life. um
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
no,
that.
I think yeah, thank you. I think that's great. And I think that flexibility piece helped me so much because sometimes that critical voice can be so black and white for me, and it's like, oh, if you don't do it now, then you're not going to do it at all, and then the whole thing's a wash, and then it just kind of snowballs like that. But I think
Yeah.
having that like flexibility and compassion piece is like, okay, maybe we can't do it right in this instant, but maybe we can try again later, and it's okay, and you're not a bad human for not being able to do this right now. It's okay, and you will find a way. And I got through the whole thing, and I absolutely loved it. And I think I got through it in a way that was the right pace for me. And I loved like that you throughout the course you gave different options for things. Like, if you can't do this, then there's this. And every time like I did eventually get back to the practice and to the course, I was just so reminded by even just like I know I already said this, but your calm demeanor and just like the whole perspective of the course is very holistic and very compassion based, I found.
Mm.
Um, and it was just like, yeah, it was like, okay, it's okay that I took a minute, and I would just like come back down. And so I felt like I was always met with just the same compassion through the course. So yeah, that was encouraging to keep going through it as well. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And you made this point, but I want to really underline it for anyone watching. But you said the process of returning to the practice
Hmm.
is a practice in itself.
Hmm.
Just like when our minds wander, when we return to our breath or whatever anchor that we're working with, that is also the practice, right? It's not
Hmm.
like if you stray in the moment, right? You start thinking about like the presentation you have for tomorrow and what are you going to eat for dinner? It's not like
Yeah,
if you do that, you've failed
right.
because the process of noticing, oh, I've wandered and then coming back,
Hmm.
that is the skill that we're
Yes.
practicing.
Hmm.
That's exactly as it should be. And I think with the program, life happening and you're like, I did not practice for a whole week and I did not log into the portal. Like that's part of it. I think
Hmm.
navigating these like black and white thinking, like
Hmm.
navigating the thoughts that you'll have as you commit to something like this and the resistance that might come up, that is also part of the program. So I think it's
Hmm.
really cool that you picked up on that and you were like, nothing's wrong. This is exactly as it should be. I'm doing it. I think that's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Um, what would you say was like maybe not it doesn't have to be the biggest, but like a aha moment from this whole experience? Like what's something that really stands out to you?
Yeah, I would say this is something I'm still kind of like mulling over, and it's actually one of the reasons why I've kind of taken a step back from doing my own YouTube videos right now. It's just I didn't realize how much I was in such a doing mode for like my time through the course, but also like I think my whole life I've just been very much a doer, and I think a lot of people in my life would say like I have a lot of things on the go at once. Usually, I like to fill my time. I don't often like to have idle time. Well, I do now, but I didn't always. And yeah, it just like it kind of hit me in waves. There's a moment in the course where you talk about like doing mode versus being in being mode. And I think I just reflected on that and I was like, I don't think I'm like I feel like I'm constantly in doing mode, or I felt like I was constantly in doing mode. Um, and I had a concept of this before. Like I understood, like being versus doing. But I think I just kind of had some awareness in my own life in that moment because I just felt like I was always on the run, like going to the gym, going to work, coming home, doing my own work, doing YouTube, taking care of like house stuff and making sure to connect with family and friends um and I think in so since I finished the course, I've been kind of taking a step back from being so like switched on all the time. And I've been, taking time to like read more. And I've like just been enjoying like reading. I go swim once a week, and instead of just trying to power through my laps, I'm like, okay, what does the water feel like as I'm moving through the pool? Let me like take notice of like all the little flickering lights at the bottom of the pool when I'm underwater and just the practice of being actually present. And actually it was funny because a couple of weeks ago I was just on Instagram and I got this ad that was like from Eckhart Tolle and he said something that just blew my mind. And it was like he was asking a monk like, what is Zen? And it was being aware without thought. And I was like, I really resonated with that because I was like being in awareness without thought. And so I've like, oh my God, yeah. I've just been trying to get comfortable with just being present and not feeling like I need to do something to feel merited or feel worthy, or feel like I'm okay, but just being um and enjoying that. Yeah, it's been a really profound shift for me. Um because that productivity piece has been so uh such like a present theme in my life recently, and especially since my last episode, I felt like um you know almost like this wheel churning where it's like I have to like reach for like these accomplishments to make myself feel like I am worth something. And yeah, so stepping out of that has been a really nice change. I've actually been really enjoying it. And it's
Yes.
allowed me to feel like so much more at peace and so much more like less chaotic and less busy and just more like at ease. And it's been a practice in itself because I've like had to be like, okay, no, you can like you don't have to do a million things today. You can literally wake up and read and it's okay. You don't have to get a whole bunch of things done or be achieving a bunch of things to be valuable, like just
Yes.
in that we exist, we are valuable. And yeah. So,
Wow. I just got chills when you described the feeling of the water like on your arms as you're swimming. I was like that is what life is for,
hmm
you know? It's
hmm
for feeling the feeling of the water and like noticing the little flickering lights. Like
yeah.
to me, that's what we're here to do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Um, can we talk a little bit about this idea of having our self-worth attached to how productive we are?
Ooh, that's a big one. But yes, we can absolutely get into
Yes,
it.
because I feel this one as well,
Yeah.
and I am so pleasantly I'm happy to hear that you're enjoying this period
hmm
of I guess, what you might call a lower level of productivity,
Hmm.
but you're enjoying it, where do you where are you finding your self-worth now?
I think right now I um am finding it just in like my relationship with myself and my relationship with others. Um, I feel like, sorry. Um, I feel like I think for a long time, like even like as I was like a really young girl, um I had this idea that I had to make something of my life and I had to create something big, something seen by others, something very profound in order to feel like I had made my life valuable, like it was worth it, you know? Um, and I think now I see a lot of that value in just existing and getting to like connect with people in my life that I love and just, being supportive to them and supportive to myself. And um I think, yeah, I just those little connection pieces, like that's really what is like I live very far from a lot of my family and friends because I moved across Canada a couple years ago, but I still feel it's very important to like, send a text when I'm thinking of someone, when someone's on my mind, just say like, hey, I miss you, hope you're well, I love you, and yeah, I hope you're having a good day or things like that. And so I'm finding a lot more meaning in just connecting with others, and even like while I'm out like on my own and stuff, like, I'll chat with, like the cashier at the grocery store or, you know, um whoever might be around, and just, yeah, finding those little moments of connection with people, but also like really I feel like I've gotten really comfortable in just being in my own body and being um at ease, and um I think I've switched what I thought was valuable. So like I said, like I used to think like all these external things and someone, giving me that validation, like saying like, oh, like this thing you created is really good, this art piece you created is really good, like um but now I just see it as like I think my relationship with myself is one of the most important things, and just getting comfortable with being in my own skin, you know? Um
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, sorry, I forget what your question was, but
No, I'm tracking you. Yeah, we were talking about like self-worth.
mhm,
And I think what listening to you, what strikes me is that what you're describing is like you're so much more held, like you're
mhm,
held in your community. You're
mhm,
held with the relationships you have with your friends and your family, they hold you. And so there's
mhm,
this like sense of security.
mhm.
And you also back to the self-compassion idea is like you got yourself
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah.
and so there's this feeling of like maybe not enoughness when we, because I relate to this very much, is like feeling like there's a hole or something
Mhm,
that's like deficient that I'm trying to, trying to fill by working really hard and
mhm,
maybe to some extent helping others. Like see, like I
mhm,
am enough. But this practice really helps us learn that like on some level we are enough because we're here and that's our only
mhm,
job. But
mhm,
also that the idea of enough makes no sense. It's like
mhm,
enough to who? Like
mhm.
enough compared to what? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just like we just are. And
Mhm.
it's like a very fine insight that I'm like still trying to like, I constantly forget and then I practice and I remember and I
Hmm.
forget and I remember.
Hmm.
But it's like, we just are. That's all it
Hmm.
is like, and
Yeah.
that practice is like really critical for me.
Hmm.
And as you were describing, I can sense that it's like so in your body, like this, like you're like really living this, which is so cool. And I think anybody listening who's like maybe like multitasking or something, like, it's easy to hear and be like, yeah, 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 I'm enough. Like the words aren't, it's like you've heard this a million times. But if you practice, if you experience this feeling, it's so much deeper than just like
It
some
is.
hearing like, get your self-worth from things internally
Hmm.
rather than externally. Like it's like, yeah, we've heard that. But it's like the embodied experience of it is like really what's powerful to me.
It it truly is, yeah. And I think I really identify with what you're saying, and um I think I kind of let go of that external, well, and I mean it is a practice in itself also, but that external pressure to need to prove myself, where like it felt like for a long time, I had to prove these things to myself even to prove that I felt like enough and worth it and all that stuff. And I've kind of through this process kind of let go of that. And yeah, it's it's almost not even like a thought shift that I had. It's like an internal feeling that kind of shifted in my body where I just feel I am okay and I am enough. And it's just because that is just what it is. And um yeah, I think it's something that has shifted through the practice of also like returning to my body and paying attention to what's actually going on in there and getting comfortable with just sitting with the uncomfortable emotions, and with sometimes the emotions that we don't want to feel and sometimes that I try to suppress, and just like letting that come out and giving it its own like face time to be felt because that is they're meant to be felt, like my body wants them to be felt.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, yeah, I just feel so different from where I started. I think when I started, I was a lot more anxious. I was trying to prove myself. I think, yeah, but I feel a lot more, yeah, just connected to myself and I have that self-trust and that like this is who I am and we're growing and changing constantly, I think. And yeah, I'm just not so focused with I guess achieving to prove myself anymore. So yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really powerful.
Yeah.
Well, I could talk to you for another 3 hours, but maybe the last question I'll ask you is what would you tell someone who is currently in your or who is currently where you were
Hmm.
when you first started Become Club, who's they're considering it, they are feeling anxious, they're
Hmm.
feeling, as you described it, like they're always on the run.
Hmm.
What would you tell them?
I think the first thing I would say is good job because I think if you've gotten to the place where you're even considering doing a course like this, um, you're probably wrestling with some internal stuff that is not easy to face. And I think just like showing up and even just like contemplating, I think that's like the first step. And so if you've gotten to that point, I say congratulations because you're on your way. I think the next thing I would say is be open and just embrace the journey because you might have an idea of how it's going to go in your head, but I don't want to guarantee, but I mean, like, I can almost guarantee that it's not going to go the exact way that you planned it or predict it to, you know? But I would say, yeah, stay open and, it's a journey and it's a beautiful journey and practice of just really getting to know yourself in a deeper way and getting to see what's really there and to have that connection piece with yourself. And I think that's something that, oh my God, totally wish everybody could. And I would love to see, a world where everybody felt that sense of connection with themselves, because I think having that, it's something that is so priceless because, um, yeah, it's not like it's just that quiet sort of um comfortability with yourself that I've gotten to. And yeah, I just think that, if you get to the point where you feel like you can be with yourself, because I hear a lot, like I talk about meditation a lot, I absolutely love it. But I hear a lot from people that ask me about my practice, like, oh, I can never have a meditation practice, or I can never meditate because I have too many thoughts, or my emotions are too big, or I can't sit with myself. And so I think if you get to the place where you can show up and just can go through the motions of the practice, you're on your way. And I just
Yeah.
yeah, I send so many good vibes, and I just if people are going through this course, yeah, just congratulations, because you're giving yourself such a wonderful gift. And it's not necessarily an easy thing to do, but it's very worth it. And the change you can see in yourself and experience in yourself and feel in yourself is really profound. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. That I feel the the strength of what you're saying. Like
Thank
this,
you.
there's this like strength that we all already have that
Hmm.
we can tap into. And for me, it's this practice that helps me stay connected to
Hmm.
that that source. So if anyone is watching right now and feeling inspired by Hannah's story, and you are feeling curious about taking the next step, we would love to have you. You can go to meditationwithamber.com/become club. And we would love to see you inside. Hannah, thank you so much for being here and really being so generous with your experience and being so insightful. And I really feel lucky to have been a part of your journey. Um, I hope you feel incredibly proud of all of the work that you've done. And as I always say, it's just the beginning, actually. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And honestly, it's been such an honor to go through this course. And yeah, I know I've said this a couple of times in this interview, but just your like candor and the way you approach the program is so just beautiful, in the sense that it just feels like a compassionate friend, like walking you through this program. And I really appreciated that. And I was just thrilled to get to be a part of it. So,
Thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate it. All right. We'll talk soon. Bye, everyone.